Well, good evening. I'm Brady Morrell for 95.3 FM KQKI, Bayou Vista, Morgan City, Louisiana. And I'm joined with Brian Protich and also St. Mary Parish President David Hannegriff for live election coverage right here on your local election headquarters, 95.3 FM KQKI. And joining us, as I mentioned, we've got Brian Protich along with Parish President David Hannegriff. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. And, we wait for this for months and months, and before you know it, it's 8 o'clock. It's 17 after 8. We are currently waiting on some results now. Of course, we are waiting for absentee or early voting, but you wait all this time, and here it is.
Yeah, that's right, Brady. And I tell you what, I'm going to let you and Parish President David Hannegriff talk for a second here, Brady.
As we are getting some numbers in, so we're going to see what those are. We can at least see if, well, we don't have anything yet in St. Mary Parish, but Parish President Hannegriff, thank you for joining us. Some interesting races. Of course, we are watching U.S. Senator, 3rd and 6th congressional districts, closer to home. The congressional districts, 3rd, that would be Clay Higgins. He is defending his seat. And this year, that would be Garrett Graves, as we have moved into his congressional district. Give us your take on that.
Yeah, well, obviously with redistricting, as always, our congressman was Clay Higgins for the longest time, and Congressman Higgins has served St. Mary Parish and his district really well. With redistricting, Garrett Graves actually took over several precincts in St. Mary Parish around the Patterson area and Amelia for the first time ever. Originally, I wasn't happy with it. I liked St. Mary Parish being consolidated and being under one district, one congressman. But right now, sitting down with Garrett Graves, Congressman Graves and everything, I think it's actually going to probably benefit St. Mary Parish having two really good congressmen represent this parish. So I'm looking forward to it.
I've been hearing the same from other local officials. They say 2 is better than 1 when it comes to congressional representation. I can tell you I am in Patterson, and tonight my precinct had to vote in the 6th congressional district as opposed to the 3rd congressional district. So times have changed, and like you said, 2 is better than 1. We shall see. Now, the closer to home, I believe what's on everyone's mind, that would be the school board races. And tell us your take on the school board races.
Well, Brady, over the past several years, myself as parish president of the school board, we hadn't seen eye to eye on several issues, ranging from taxes, especially going forward, to certain issues we're dealing with, some authority and decisions that I have as parish president. So I believe right now a lot of the races, some of the incumbents have chosen not to run. Some of the races now and some of the incumbents that should be easily walk in aren't going to walk in as easily tonight as I believe they should, primarily because people are not necessarily happy. They're not happy with the schools. Clearly, we're coming out of COVID, and COVID isn't, the school board itself and the administrations and all that aren't to blame for COVID. But when you add that with the taxation and a lot of other issues we're having going on in St. Mary Parish, there's a lot of parents that aren't happy. So we're going to see. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'm really engaged in it, and hopefully I'm glad that there are a lot of young people running for the first time ever. A lot of parents with children in the schools running for the first time ever. So I'm really encouraged by that. Win, lose, or draw, they're doing a great job, and they're all running really good campaigns. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of these results.
You know, it's really getting a lot of attention, David. Is the fact that on the not on the council agenda, but the school board agenda this week, is the fact that Dr. Bagwell's evaluation, from what we're hearing, that would usually be held in January. Now that has possibly been moved up to this month to introduce it and then possibly be evaluated next month. Have you heard anything on that? Do you know anything on that?
Well, I heard it. I saw it on the agenda. And whenever you see an item on the agenda, discussion and action, then you have to be worried about it. I'm very, very disappointed in that. The contract is not up until June. This has nothing to say with the performance of Dr. Bagwell, but everyone I've talked to across the board clearly believes that the new school board, the new elected school board, should be the ones making the decision on the next superintendent. Either it's going to be the current one or someone else. I think it just shows what's going on with certain school board members and the problems we're having right now. The lack of transparency, the lack of involving the public and people and trying to do things like this. It's not right. It is absolutely not right to try to sneak or do this prior, and instead of letting the newly elected school board make those decisions.
Well, we shall see what happens. It is on the agenda for this week, and we shall see what happens. But Parish President Hannegriff, we shall see what happens in some of these races, mainly the school board races. Again, the 3rd and 6th congressional districts, and like you said, 2 are better than 1 when it comes to representation from Congress. We can tell you that at least one media outlet in the state has already projected that Senator John Kennedy will keep his seat as U.S. Senator. I don't think that's a surprise to many, but from what we're hearing, that has been at least projected by one media outlet in the state of Louisiana. That's not official. That's just a projection, but we will continue to keep our eye on that. Moving ahead real quick, President Hannegriff, next year we will have some incredible races to watch. Your seat will be up for grabs, a sheriff's race, a Senate race, a clerk of court race, many races up for grabs next year. It's going to be a lot of action, don't you think?
No, absolutely. There are going to be so many open seats, which is really important. As far as incumbents, myself termed out and several other individuals are termed out. So with an open seat comes a lot of excitement, a lot of challengers. I just hope good people stand up. That's the biggest thing. I told several people that were running for school board, I said, look, at the end of the day, the only losers are those who don't sign their name on that paper and sign up and run for office. Everybody needs to stand up and do their part. We need people to, instead of sit on the sidelines, stand up and sign your name on the paper and run for office and do your part. So hopefully we'll get some really good candidates.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've been visiting with St. Mary Parish President David Hannegriff. We are scheduled to also visit with Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna as well to get his take, especially on the congressional districts and the school board races. He's been outspoken about that as well. Thank you again, St. Mary Parish President David Hannegriff. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you. All right, Brian, we are still waiting on some early votes.
Absolutely, and we continue to wait. Assumption Parish, they are getting their early votes in right now. I'm not sure if you have that pulled up on your screen, Brady, as we wait
can do that.
Yeah, as we await the results to begin to come in for St. Mary Parish. We'll go ahead and run down, if you'd like, we'll run down on what's on or what people have voted for. Of course, you mentioned the school board running here or to be elected here tonight, and that has been an interesting, I guess, part of this election cycle, right? And you heard David Hannegriff mention some things. Of course, you mentioned some things as well. It's District 3, 5, 7, 8, and 11. We've got an interesting District 3, which is Kenneth Kenny Alfred, and Lindsay Anselm. We kind of saw in the forum where Kenny Alfred, when he did his closing remarks, kind of lashed out at Anselm a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
That was very, very interesting, I thought, for him to do that at that particular moment. So that is going to be a very, very interesting race over in District 3. Really, all of them, though,
They will
because
be.
yeah, you heard David say a lot of people, they're just not happy right now with
They're
the
not.
school board and the direction that it was going. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they voted. As
Yeah.
I was at my polling place, I was talking to the ladies, of course, that were there, and they said that they had a fairly steady day
Good.
at their polling place. So I'm hoping maybe that's an indication that some people or a good bit of people got out and voted, because that's going to make all of the difference.
Yes, it does. It really does make a big, big difference. And so we encourage people to vote, no matter what election, no matter where you live. It is important to vote. And Brian, whenever you're ready, we can maybe get on. We're going to try to get Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna to
Okay.
see if he can give us his comments as well.
And we're going to go ahead and try to do that, Brady.
All right. And so again, as Brian is saying, we're going to give us one moment there. We're going to get Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna to come on and speak to us to get his take. Again, Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna has been really, really engaged in the process, especially in the situation with the behavioral problems there at Morgan City Junior High School. So we're going to see exactly what he says regarding the situation with the Morgan City School Board. I'm sorry, the St. Mary Parish School Board. You know, the pandemic has changed so much, and anything can happen when you have a pandemic. And when you take the kids, you move them out of the school session, and you move them into home, you bring them back, everything has changed. It uproots them, and even the teachers. It has made a big, big difference. So anything is possible that relates to the school board races tonight. And we are waiting to hear again from Brian Prodige as he is trying to connect with Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna. And I do want to thank Brian Prodige for. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Brady. And I am able to. By the way, I know we had some things where we were talking about. I am able to mute from my side. Very interesting the way we're doing this tonight, ladies and
Yes, we
gentlemen.
are.
But I did have Mayor Dragna on the line there momentarily, but he said he's dealing with the situation right now over in Morgan City, Brady. As I think you know that as we were coming on the
Yes.
air, there was a situation unfolding over in
Yes.
Morgan City, and he's dealing with that right now. So
there is a situation. We're going
yeah.
to see if we can get some information on that. And Brian, I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go down a list of races. First of all, let's see if we are getting any early voting numbers coming in before we do that. And then, yes, still no early votes. Brian,
are you surprised? Are you surprised though? This almost seems like the situation we had a couple of years ago, if you remember.
Yeah.
With
Sure.
something not being updated correctly, because we're seeing numbers coming out of Assumption Parish right now. It's the early voting numbers, but we're still seeing numbers. We have yet to see anything come out of St. Mary Parish right now.
You're exactly right. That's extremely interesting. Usually about 8, 10 or so you would get something. So this is very unusual. Brian, I am going to send a number. Guys, excuse us. This is live radio at its finest.
It is.
And I'm going to send you a number to see if you can bring on. It's a very interesting way we're having to do things tonight, but we're going to see if we can get Morgan City Police Chief Chad Adams on the air with us. There was a situation earlier where there were some shots fired in the area of Federal Avenue and Orange Street. We understand this is unconfirmed, but we understand that there were some possible additional shots fired, and we do know that Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna is dealing with that situation. And Brian, if you need to go ahead and take care, if you can get Morgan City Police Chief Chad Adams on the air with us, and maybe he can give us an update while we're doing that, and we are waiting on additional results. What I will do is I will see if we can pull up some results for our friends out in Assumption Parish while we are waiting on results coming out of St. Mary Parish. I know there are some interesting school board races there, and we will go down those. Now, right now, these are strictly early votes. That would be member of school board Ward 1, Honore Lou Lewis, leading Nikki Patterson with 66% of the vote to 34%. Member of school board Ward 4, Electa Fletcher Mickens, 61 to Chelsea Rodriguez, 39%. School Board Ward 5, again, this is Assumption Parish only. Jesse Robertson, 45%. Amy Blanchard, 31%. Joshua Abear, 24%. Ward 6, Daniel Jack Washington, 42%. Carl Franklin, 34%, and Ray Nick Nicholas, 24%. Those are the major races out there in Assumption Parish. We can tell you that public service. All right, Brian, do you have the chief?
No, I do not. We're going to have Captain Ogman calling in here in just a little bit, or
Okay.
we're going to be able to get in touch with her. She's actually on the scene right now. So
Great. Okay.
We're trying to get that set up, Brady.
Okay. And
it's a busy night. We thought we were just doing elections, right?
Right. Exactly. So much for that. But you know what? Crime is crime. Okay.
Yeah, it does not sleep and it does not have a night or time. Right.
Yes.
We are getting some of those early numbers in now from St. Mary Parish, Brady.
Okay, let's go.
Pass that on to you.
Okay. All right. Let's. You can start sending those over when you're ready.
Pardon me. No, we're not.
Okay.
False alarm.
So much for that.
I was looking at Assumption. I got excited for a second. Okay.
Brian, I tell you what, if you can maybe see if you can go through the races, maybe mention the names of the candidates that we are watching.
Yes.
I'm going to step away and take care of something real quick.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Brady Borrell. Working hard today. Of course, we've been working on this all day to get everything ready. We want to welcome everyone in election night coverage here in St. Mary Parish and across the state, really. Looking at School Board District 3, you've got Kenny Alfred, who is taking on Lindsay Anselm in that race. For School Board Member District 5, you have Jacqueline Castillo going up against Ginger Griffin. Of course, Ginger Griffin is the incumbent in that race. School Board District 7, you have Glenn Pellerin going up against Murphy J. Pontiff Jr., who is the incumbent in that race. Let's see if I can... Nope, still not getting any numbers in as of right now. Really surprised that we have not gotten those early voting numbers in yet from St. Mary Parish. School Board District 3, that race, pardon me, that's what we just had with Castillo and Griffin. In District 7 for school boards, Glenn Pellerin, Murphy J. Pontiff Jr., which I had mentioned already. Also, District 8 member school board race is Scott Babin, Sean Canny, and Chad Parody in that race. Over in District 11, Rhonda Dennis and Roland Barrett. Roland Barrett being the incumbent in that race. Mayor's races around the parish. You got the town of Baldwin, Herbert Bell against Clarence Vappy. And also you have incumbent Duval Arthur Jr. against Jesse Boudreaux, that race in Berwick. Chief of Police for the town of Baldwin, that's going to be Tony Derwat, Ronnie Fuselier, and Anthony Gibson in that race. And Alderman for the town of Baldwin, you got, I believe, 5 will be elected to that. There's 10 running. You've got Carolyn Bowser, Margaret Kolar, Ajani Connor, Tony Gibson, Donald Grimm, Dawn Lancelin, Everett Logeman, Marion Newton, Robert Robinson, and Amber Tillman in that race for Alderman Town of Baldwin.
There you go.
Still waiting for those numbers to come out, Brady.
Yeah, and, speaking of Baldwin, that's an interesting scenario in itself. Baldwin, there is an open seat in Baldwin. We shall see what happens in the mayor's race as Mayor Prejean decided not to seek re-election. He told me that 4 years were good enough, and he decided to step away from politics. And we shall see. It is a very interesting race. To see what will happen in Baldwin. Also, a lot of candidates running in that race for those 5 alderman seats as well. And so we shall see what happens in that race. And then, of course, the police chief's race in Baldwin as well. That's interesting in itself. They've had some issues with crime. We do know that the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office has had to really assist them a lot with their patrols, their dispatching in Baldwin, and it's really interesting to see what's going to happen with the new chief of police, how he will see about fighting the crime there in Baldwin. They've had their hands full.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at what last Mardi Gras, they had to cancel the parade in Baldwin, if I'm not mistaken, because of the threat of crime. So it is a very interesting situation going on in the town of Baldwin. Hopefully they can get some good people in and get all of that straight.
That's exactly right. So we shall see, folks. We are just waiting. We are in the waiting game. We are not only waiting.
That's assumption. Sorry, pardon me.
No problem. You're good. It's just wishful thinking at this point. It's a waiting game. We are waiting for results. Usually, well, by now, we would have had numbers come in from St. Mary Parish on those early voting numbers.
Yeah.
And we're also hearing from Officer Betty Augman in Morgan City. There is a situation, again, earlier this evening. There was a report of shots fired. That was unconfirmed. There were no injuries, but we do know there is another situation. It's unconfirmed again, but we did hear there were possible shots fired again. We do know that Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna is involved in the situation, and so we're trying to find out exactly what's going on at this time. So if you're trying to listen on
the words from the mayor that I got from the mayor was that it was an active shooter situation.
Okay.
But that we have not confirmed with the Morgan City Police Department yet.
Okay.
And we say that he was headed out there, Brady.
Okay. And for our radio listeners, if you're trying to listen on the radio and you're coming back to us, we apologize. I'm going to do something now to bring us on the radio. We are having some issues with our radio transmission, but never fear. Brady's here, and we hope we can get it right.
I don't know if I'm excited about that or not.
That's exactly why I said that. We hope we can get it right.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I thought I had it right earlier, but you know what? Equipment is equipment. That's what happens.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Looking at, I can go ahead and give some state races.
Yeah, please do. Let's do that.
We have, of course, U.S. Senate. You got John Kennedy. He's got almost 112,000 votes right now. This is 25% of the votes being counted. 68%, Brady. So the closest one is Luke Mixon at 14%. So yeah, John Kennedy will take that race.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt at all.
All right. Can you pull up anything on the congressional races?
I'm going to try to do that here for you. Let's see.
And if anyone is trying to listen to the radio and has come back to Facebook or one of our digital network platforms, you should be able to go back and listen on the radio momentarily. I believe I have that fixed. All right, thank you. We are good now. We are on the radio, so we should be good to go.
There we go. So we're back. We're back home, right?
We are back home on the radio. We had a piece of transmission equipment. It's amazing how you can try something and it works fine, and you try it again, and guess what? It's got a mind of its own.
That's it. And folks, you're going to see your screen's not stuck because you can see the stars moving. We're going to go ahead and keep it on that St. Mary's School Board District 3 placard right now, because we're just not getting any results in so far. And really, you look over at Assumption, they got the early voting in, Brady, but that's all they've gotten in. They
That's
haven't
exactly
gotten
right.
anything else in. So I don't know
Yep.
if this is going to be a state problem or what.
I'm going to let me see if I can find out. I'm going to send a text to someone to see if they can maybe check into something for us. Maybe contact the clerk of court's office and maybe see if they can help us with that. So you can
Okay.
get, maybe review
And
some other races.
yeah,
Maybe
and I actually have the, let's see, the congressional races up right now. U.S. Representative, first congressional district. Let's see, who are we? Look, Clay Higgins. Here we go. We want to look at him.
and
Um,
Brian, I'm going to step away while you do that, and I'm going to
okay.
contact the clerk of court's office.
All right. Thank you so much, Brady.
You got it.
U.S. Representative, first congressional district. In that race, there's Katie Darling, Howard Kearney, and Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise, of course, leading that race with 72% of the vote. It looks like he's going to go ahead and take uh, uh, that race there. U.S. Representative, second congressional district, 7 of 632 precincts reporting. You've got Troy Carter and Dan Lux. Troy Carter leading that race with 60% of the vote. Going over to Clay Higgins, the Republican here in District 3 for the 3rd Congressional District, which is in our area. Clay Higgins leading that race with 64% of the vote. The closest one coming into him would be Leslie LeBlanc, the Democrat, with 12% of the vote. So Clay Higgins is looking pretty good in that race. We're going to go ahead and see if we have gotten any numbers in. We have yet to get any numbers in from the state of Louisiana, as we're even waiting on the early voting numbers. It's been 42 minutes since the polls have closed here in St. Mary Parish, and we have yet to get even the early voting numbers in. So Brady is checking in with the Secretary of State to see if there's some type of issue or something that is going on. But obviously, they are getting some of the returns in, because we have already read you some of the results coming in, at least on the congressional side.
All right,
Brady?
Brian, I am here. Parish President David Hannegriff, just spoke to him. He is going to check in with the clerk of court's office to see if he can get us some answers, to see what the delay is. Usually, I mean, by 8:15, you would get some results on
Yeah,
those
I mean,
early voting numbers.
we're
Yeah,
43
this is,
minutes after the polls have closed.
yeah.
Uh, so it's
And
interesting as to
I
why
don't
we
know
haven't
what
gotten those numbers yet.
Sure, I don't know what the process is for them to get those numbers uploaded, but that should really be pretty quick. And I'm
Right.
not really sure, but he's going to check in for us. Again, we want to keep you updated as much as we can on this situation in Morgan City. Again, earlier, about the time I was going vote, they had a situation where there was a call for shots fired in the area of Federal Avenue and Orange Street. They did not find any evidence. From what I understand, there were no injuries. I can tell you that
That's good.
there was a very large presence. I got a call from a source, from an eyewitness who saw about 8 police units going through town running lights and sirens, and then I got a text from another eyewitness who said they saw 11 going through town, and
Wow.
they converged onto that area near Federal Avenue and Orange Street. Again, we spoke to Captain, I believe it's Captain Betty Augman with the Morgan City Police Department. She said there were no injuries, and then we received some information about some other information, now unconfirmed, supposedly some
Right.
other shots fired. That was definitely unconfirmed, but yet Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna tells Brian Prodige they're dealing with an active shooter situation. We do not know where, we do not know the extent, but we are waiting
Right.
to hear from Officer Augman at this time. And so it's a very, very fluid situation. We've got the election returns, and now you've got a potential active shooter situation in Morgan City. I want to say potential because that is not confirmed at this
Right.
time.
Exactly.
And so that was just in the words of Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna. And
Right.
that has not been confirmed yet from the Morgan City Police Department. He was, I believe, en route to check the situation. And as soon as we can get some information, we definitely will. And still nothing from St. Mary Parish. I do want to go back to the statewide Senator John Kennedy. Let me see. I am hearing, let me see something. Okay. Statewide, Senator John Kennedy looks like he is going to be easily reelected. Several media outlets in the state of Louisiana have already projected that he will be reelected with 67% of the vote already in. I'm sorry, he's leading with 67% of the vote, but only 52 of 64 parishes have been reporting. But
Brady, are you, and I'm not sure if you can, but I was just kind of looking at Facebook. I think it told me that the video had ended. I don't know if you want to maybe check into that. I apologize.
It's looking good for me.
Oh,
It's looking good.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yep, we're good.
I guess Facebook just kind of. No, we're live. It just Facebook actually said the video ended. That's what it told me. But that's okay, folks.
Good.
We have a lot of things that are going on right now. It's. Thank you, Brady. I appreciate that. Didn't mean to alarm you whatsoever.
No,
it's
fine.
47 minutes since the polls have closed, and we have yet to get even the results of the early voting. And
sure,
this is
exactly.
this side. I don't think this didn't happen the last time that we had a situation, Brady. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on here.
Yes, it will. But again. Okay, we are trying to wait. Okay, we have to get some information that is unconfirmed information. Folks, we're going to try to get some information to you as soon as we can. Brian, did you speak to Chief Adams or did you speak to Captain Ogman?
I spoke to Chief Adams very, very briefly.
Okay.
And he told me that he was going to try to get us with Captain Ogman. I'm not sure who she's going to call, Brady, or she's going to call me, or she's going to call you.
I'm going to send
call her.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send her number to you. If you can contact Miss Betty Ogman. There you go.
I apologize. I'm just reading some of the comments that we have.
Yes, indeed. The comments are very golden.
You would be about right, Rita.
Yes, indeed. And thank you very much, Donald Stevens. He says the phone app is coming through live, and we thank Donald Stevens. He is I tell you what, we can always depend on Donald Stevens. He is very much of a big fan of ours, a supporter. I like to say supporter.
Supporter, there you go.
There you go. So, folks, I know there is information being posted on Facebook regarding the situation in Morgan City, but until we can confirm it, we'll try to do our best. But I believe, Brian, if you can try to get Captain Ogman on right now, if you can, I believe he's doing that. But I will continue to see if we can get some type of results coming in for St. Mary Parish. But again, no early voting whatsoever. Again, going statewide, it looks like Senator John Kennedy will hold on to his seat in the congressional races. Those that impact St. Mary Parish, it looks like 3rd Congressional District Congressman Clay Higgins. He has a strong early lead of 62%. And I can tell you that Garrett Graves in the 6th Congressional District, he has been projected to win his seat, to keep his seat at 85%. Again, this year, we will now have 2 congressmen who will be representing St. Mary Parish due to redistricting, but several of the officials that we have spoken to have told us that 2 congressional representatives are better than just 1, and you have 2 fighting for you in Washington. We shall see, but okay, thank you, Brian. We're going to continue to wait on that information. Let me see. Brian, I'm going to send you yet another number. Let's try this one.
Thank you. You might as well give me something because we surely aren't getting these numbers.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Let's try this one. And at this point, since we're not getting numbers, we may as well look into this potential shooting. We want to say potential shooting in Morgan City. That, of course, is a very fluid situation right now, and we're trying to see exactly if it's even in the same area. And I know, again, comments are coming through. If you did hear that from another source, thank you. Of course, we have to do our due diligence and to confirm that with local officials, but we are hearing there is something going on, and Morgan City Mayor Lee Dragna did reference that to an active shooter situation. We just need to confirm that, and as soon as we can, we will. Brian is trying to contact another official with the Morgan City Police Department. We also have St. Mary Parish President David Hannegriff is trying to make contact with the Clerk of Court's office, and that's St. Mary Parish President David Hannegriff. Give me just a moment. We will play music while I speak to him. Give us one moment. And I'm Brady Borrell, and I just spoke to Parish President David Hannegriff, and he has told me that it does look like that information should be coming through shortly. There was a delay with one of the agencies, and it looks like that information should be coming through shortly. And thank you, Brian. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I sure am, Brady. Yes.
Okay. And
hopefully we're going to hear back from the Morgan City Police Department here shortly. Want to welcome in Jerry Lynn. Let's see, Byron watching. And so a lot of folks watching, a lot of folks listening tonight. We want to welcome you in. And here on this Tuesday evening, lovely Tuesday evening. Brady, we're going to have a cool front coming through later in the week. So this weekend's going to be absolutely great.
I am ready for that. I am definitely ready for that.
And by the way, can I plug the game for Friday night?
Please do. We have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of numbers, hopefully Berwick will put up a lot of numbers this Friday night as we'll travel over to Kentwood, and they'll take on Jewel Sumner, the Cowboys. So
yes, we are
against the Cowboys, and then we'll see how that game goes. But you can listen to that game right here on 95.3 FM. Also, you can watch it. Hopefully, we're working on all of that, and I think we're going to have a great night.
We are planning to do that. Of course, that's a new area for us. We are going up to Kentwood, which is north of Hammond on I-55. So that's a new area for us too. So we have to just make sure connections work and everything else. And Brian, I hear Brian has taken a call, so we're going to go ahead and let him take care of that. And hopefully we're getting some information as we speak, but hopefully we're getting some information on that situation in Morgan City. There is an unconfirmed shooting. We are trying to get that confirmed.
Okay, Brady, we have John on the air with us right now.
Yes, good evening, John Schaff Captain John Schaff with the Morgan City Police Department. John, can you give us some information of what's happened tonight?
We're still in the initial stages of this incident, Brady. We were responding to the area of Apple Street and Garber regarding shots being fired in the area. We do have one confirmed that has been struck and is being treated at a local hospital. The investigation is very hot and ongoing at this time. We got 4 people with interest in custody, and we're starting to process everything and take our further steps in this investigation.
Now, is this related to the earlier incident in the Orange and Federal Avenue area?
It's possible. Could be 2 different incidents. We don't have any information that ties them together yet, but we're hoping all of that's going to be found out as we investigate.
Also, do you know the extent of the injuries?
Not at this time. I have not been unable to go to the hospital to get a status on the victim. But as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm gonna be calling.
Thank you. If you can be in touch with John, I'm sorry, yes, Captain John Shaft, if you can be in touch with Brian and let him know or send me a text and we'll pass that information on to you. If it's in anything breaking, if you can let us know and you can go on the air with us right away. Just give Brian a call.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank
No
you,
doubt.
Captain Shaft. We appreciate
All right,
everything.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
y'all.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, there we have it. So there was a shooting in Morgan City in the Garber Street area. That is off of Federal Avenue. One person has been struck and injured, and four persons of interest have been taken into custody. And as soon as we can get some more information on that, we will. Our hopes and prayers are with those involved. Again, we're still waiting on some information. Brian,
Yes.
I did speak to Parish President Hannegriff while you were on the phone, and he did say there was an issue with an agency, one of the agencies that processes the numbers, but we should start seeing some soon. We can go ahead and maybe I'll jump over to Assumption again. Our neighbors over there,
Yeah.
we do have those.
How are they doing? Are they getting more? Yeah, it seems like they're actually, well, let's run down and, well, no, I'm going to let you take that one, Brady, because
No problem.
I did actually get off of Assumption.
As a matter of fact, it looks like only two. No, they have more than two precincts coming through now. They do have maybe up to 8 precincts coming through in Assumption, but
Okay.
in the Public Service Commission District 3 race, that would be Lambert Wassier the third. He is leading with 38% of the total now. State Senator, 17th Senatorial District, Caleb Seth Kleinpeter. He is leading with 66%. School Board Member, Ward 1, Honore Lou Lewis, leading with 66%. Those are absentee votes only. In a School Board Ward 4, Electa Fletcher Mickens leading Chelsea Rodrigue with 61% to 39%. Ward 5, Jesse Robertson, 45% to Amy Blanchard, 31%. Joshua Abear, 24%. Ward 6, Daniel Jack Washington, 40%. Ray Nicholas, 32%. And Carl Franklin, 28%. In the Alderman, Village of Napoleonville, we've got 3 to be elected, the leaders as of now. Velma Jupiter, 29%. Kia Converse, 24%. April Williams, 23%. Deshae Rhodes, 18%. Floyd Drew Hill Sr., 6%. That's where we stand there. And again, it does seem that U.S. Senator John Kennedy will easily hold on to his seat for another 6 years in the state of Louisiana. Of course, he will continue to represent us in Washington. In the 3rd Congressional District, this would be from other parishes.
We have numbers coming in now from St. Mary Parish, Brady.
Okay.
Just wanted to pass that along to you.
Finally. Okay. So should I let you go ahead, or you wanted to start?
You can go ahead and give that, and we'll start updating these graphics here.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with school board races and mayor's race in the town of Berwick. Right now, Duval Arthur Jr. is leading Jesse Boudreaux, 87% to Jesse Boudreaux's 13%. I believe that Duval Arthur Jr. will easily win another term as mayor of Berwick. In the school board races that we've been so closely watching, it's a tight one between Lindsay Anselm and Kenny Alfred in District 3. Just a 5 votes separate Lindsay Anselm and Kenny Alfred, 51% to 49%, 126 to 121. Lindsay Anselm with 126, Kenneth Alfred 121. Those are just early voting numbers. In District 5, Ginger Griffin is leading Jacqueline Fields Castillo 70% to 30%. Ginger Griffin with 171 votes to Jacqueline Fields Castillo 75%. District 7, Murphy Pontiff Jr. Leading with 60% to Glenn Pellerin's 40%. In the race in District 8, that would be the Berwick area, Chad Parody leading 65% to Scott Babin, 29% Sean Canty, 6%. Those would be early voting only. In District 11, Rhonda Dennis leading the incumbent Roland Verrett with 56 to 44%. Again, that is the Rhonda Dennis leading Roland Verrett, the longtime incumbent, 56 to 44%. Those are just early numbers. Right now, Rhonda Dennis has 52 votes with Roland Verrett's 41 votes. The mayor of town of Baldwin, Clarence Vappy, leading Herbert H.B. Bell, 77% to 23%. Again, Clarence Vappy looking strong for the town of Baldwin. 77% to Herbert Bell's 23%. And going again in the town of Berwick, Duval Arthur looking very strong. I think we can easily say that he will no doubt lead the town of Berwick for another 4 years with those strong of numbers. He's got 307 votes to Jesse Boudreau's 46 votes, Brian. Also in the town of Baldwin, chief of police, right now leading in that race is Anthony Gibson. He is the former chief of police in the town of Baldwin. He is leading with 38% to Tony Derwan, 31%, and then Ronnie Fuseli only still 31%. There's only one vote that separates Tony Derwan and Ronnie Fuseli, so that's going to be a tight matchup. That will no doubt go to a runoff there in Baldwin. Brian, you have anything?
No, that's about it. Pretty much just getting these graphics updated as quick as we can so that way we can start cycling them through. Brady, doing a great job.
Thank you.
Those are going 100% absentee reporting. So those are the absentee numbers that we are seeing right now.
Tell you what, Brian, while you update some graphics, I am going to go through the school board races again. That would be School Board District 3. A big race, closely watched race, is very close at this moment with just absentee or early votes coming in. Lindsay Anselm leads Kenneth Kenny Alfred, the incumbent, with just 5 votes, 126 to 121. That's a very closely watched race.
Yeah, that sure is.
Yes, very close. It could be, we'll see if it's a nail biter. No promises. In District 5, incumbent Ginger Griffin leading Jacqueline Fields Castillo, a newcomer, with 70% to 30%. Ginger Griffin having 171 votes to Jacqueline Fields Castillo, 75 votes. In District 7, we actually have some precincts coming in, 5 of 6 precincts. Right now, we've got a very tight race. We've got Glenn Pellerin leading Murphy Pontiff Jr. By just 11 votes. Glenn Pellerin, 599 to Murphy Pontiff Jr.'s 588. They're both at 50%. With only 11 votes separating them. So the next precinct that comes in, we will know the winner.
Absolutely. Boy, that's close, isn't it? That's
extremely close. In the Berwick area, School Board District 8, Chad Parody is leading Scott Babin, Chad Parody, 65%, Scott Babin's 29%, Sean Canty, 6%. So there you have it. Chad Parody coming out strong with a strong lead in early votes. Anything can happen when you get into the precincts. And then in District 11, that would be the Wyandotte area, Victor 2 area, Amelia area, Rhonda Dennis holding on to a pretty strong lead in the early votes, 56% to Roland Verrett's 44%. That would be, though, about 11 vote difference in early votes. So though it looks strong, you're only looking at 11 votes.
That's it.
There you have anything new, Brian?
Actually, let's see. No,
okay.
We're still waiting on some precincts. Baldwin. Let's see. Did Baldwin change with the mayor? We now have 2 of 3 precincts reporting in that race,
Okay.
Brady.
Okay.
So I think
Let's
that has
see. Going.
changed. It looks like Herbert Bell with 33% of the vote and Clarence Vappy with 67% of the vote. So I think it's pretty safe to
Yeah.
say that it will most probably be Vappy.
Yes, he is a businessman. He's from what I understand, a healthcare provider. His wife works for a Tesh Action Clinic. Very, very involved in the community. I do know Mr. Herbert Bell, HB Bell. He is very involved as well. May have even served as mayor pro tem at some point. I'm not really sure. The joke has been that the HB in his name stands for helping Baldwin. That's been the long-standing joke. But he has done a lot for the community, and we wish him well no matter what happens tonight. Of course, big numbers in Berwick. I don't think there are any big surprises tonight. Duval Arthur Jr. looks like he will hold on to his seat in Berwick with 87% of the vote to Jesse Boudreaux's 13%. And speaking of Berwick, while we wait on other numbers, Brian,
Yes.
you're doing something right when the entire council goes in unopposed. Not a sixth
That's
person.
just amazing.
Yes, not one other person ran against the entire council. And we're going to try to get Mayor Arthur on sometime later in the show once we are able to solidify the other numbers. But yes, that's pretty amazing when the entire council can go in. And I think we saw the results of their work this weekend at the Lighthouse Festival. And in the race for chief of police in the town of Baldwin, Anthony Gibson is leading with 46%, but under that 50% or 50 plus one threshold needed to avoid a runoff. His next challenger behind him is Ronnie Fuselier, who is well, here we go. That race has been decided. We'll go into a runoff. Anthony Gibson will go into a runoff with Ronnie Fuselier, who happens to be a police officer here in Patterson. And it will be interesting to see where the votes come from Tony Derwan. If Fuselier can...
3 of 3 reporting,
Yeah.
Brady? Or
Yes. And then we can say that Clarence Vappy will be the new mayor of Baldwin. He is the projected new mayor of Baldwin. And so there you have it. The chief of police race in Baldwin. Anthony Gibson will go into a runoff with Ronnie Fuselier, a police officer here in Patterson. Anthony Gibson with 45% to Ronnie Fuselier's 28%. Tony Derwan with 27%, and we shall see what happens in that race. Let's see if we can get you some other numbers here. Nothing yet in other school board races, unless we can call the one in, yes, we can call the race
yes.
in Murphy Pontiff actually jumped out ahead and has defeated Glenn Pellerin by 10 votes. 10 votes. 625 to 615. That's very interesting because, even my 9-year-old daughter who has never voted was giving my wife and I a speech on our way to vote earlier that every vote counts. And she basically said, if you don't vote, don't complain. Wow.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just amazing when you go ahead and look at that race. 50.4% for Murphy Pontiff Jr. and 49.6% for Glenn Pellerin. Brady, that's real close. I mean, 10 votes.
Yes, very, very much. Wow. And look,
and
they have been even close.
Yeah. I apologize.
Wow.
That's
Hold
all
on
6
second.
precincts reporting, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Wow. 10 votes. I've seen them even closer than that, so anything's possible. So there you go, folks. We are trying to see what we can get done for you, get some more results in, and let's see anything else coming in, and let's refresh here to see if some other races have been called. We do know that 21 of 45 precincts in St. Mary Parish have come through. Let's see, Clay Higgins leading easily in St. Mary Parish with 60%. I'm not sure if that race has been called yet by other media outlets or not. I'm not really sure. Gary Graves a solid 70%. Court of Appeal, Stephen Miller leading Tanner McGee 60% to 40%. Now that's just in St. Mary Parish. Public Service Commission, Mike Francis leading with 54%. Again, let's see here. Still no precincts reporting in District 3 between Lindsay Anselm and Kenny Alfred. Only 5 votes separate Lindsay Anselm and Kenny Alfred. 5 votes. That's just in early votes. We shall see what happens as we start seeing some precincts come through. Brian, I think that will probably be the most interesting race of the night in St. Mary Parish. I believe it will be.
Most probably. And it is official. Clarence Vappy will be the next mayor of Baldwin.
There you go. And again, I think we can easily project that Duval Arthur Jr. will continue to be mayor for another 4 years in Berwick. And again, we hope to hear from him.
Yeah. We're calling that one. You can see our check. We got that little green check that we'll put up.
Our first unofficial projection.
There you go.
Without having any other precincts come in. In the Alderman, town of Baldwin, we can try to see if we can decipher this. It gets tricky when you're trying to figure out Alderman, and I might be able to do this. I've got to do some math, but you've got a total of 3, 6, 9, 10 running for alderman in the town of Baldwin.
And it's going to be 5, isn't it, Brady, that are going to be elected?
5 to be elected. There is a formula, and I was thinking about this earlier. I can see if I can figure it out. I meant to practice earlier, but I can look at the top vote getters, because sometimes there is a runoff in a situation with aldermen. But the top vote getters, let me go through these. That would be Amber Richard Tillman, Dawn Lancelin. Let me see here. Ajani Connor, Margaret Kolar, and let me see. And then the next one down would be, it looks like it would be Tony Gibson, if I'm not mistaken. So, those are really tricky. You have to try to decipher those, and then there's a formula. And to make sure that everybody gets above that threshold. But I learned that years ago.
Yeah, I think you learned that from the Berwick race, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago.
Yes, I did. I'm trying to recall that formula, but we'll see. Let me see here. Let's see
Still
if we've got
awaiting the precincts to come in from some of the districts, Brady.
Let me see here. Congressional. Let's look at the congressional races for 3rd Congressional District with just under half of the precincts reporting. Clay Higgins is jumping out to a very strong lead with 62%. I mean, he's extremely popular, and so I believe he's got a strong chance of holding on to his seat for another 2 years. Garrett Graves will no doubt hold on to his seat. I mean, he's got 81% of the votes. And again, Garrett Graves will now represent portions of St. Mary Parish. He's actually going to be my congressman now here in Patterson. And strange situation, but that's the way it works. And it looks like we may have, let's see if we've got some additional precincts reporting. Looks like we're waiting on East End precincts. That's what we're waiting on. West End precincts are pretty much filling in pretty quickly, and it just depends how they have to carry those numbers over. They used to report, you know where the school board annex is on Onstead Street in Morgan City?
Yeah,
Onstead and 2nd. They used to deliver about half of the results there, and then the other half would go to the courthouse. I don't know how they do it now. Maybe they have to transgress the entire, or not transgress, but bring the entire, all of the machines all over to the courthouse in Baldwin. I'm sorry, Franklin. I'm not really sure, but who knows where they have to go with this. But I know people are cheering on Rhonda Dennis, but of course we do have to say those are strictly early numbers.
Right.
Yes, early voting. And let's see, we're going to make sure she is only leading with 11 votes, and that is early voting. Okay. So right now, while it may say 56% to 44%, it looks strong. Remember, those are only 11 votes difference between her and Mr. Roland Verrett, the incumbent. But let's say Ginger Griffin jumping out to a 40% lead over her challenger, Jacqueline Fields Castillo. Again, it's early votes. It's about a just under 100 votes separating the two. Anything can change, but one of the big stories right now, just a 5 votes separating Lindsay Anselm and Kenny Alfred. Very, very hotly contested race. And I'm going to tell you another hot race, too, really in District 8 with Chad Parody, Scott Babin, Sean Canty. You really heard a lot out of Chad Parody and Scott Babin. They've been running very hard.
You did.
And so anything
Scott Babin, very really throughout this race, I believe, especially in the farm, really pre-farm, when you go back to the town hall meetings that were held, Scott Babin very vocal.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
prior to running for the school board. So yeah, definitely a vocal candidate.
Yeah,
so to say.
exactly. Judge Court of Appeal, it looks like Stephen Miller will most likely take that seat. He is a judge out of the Raceland area, and Tanner McGee is a school board. I'm sorry, he's a state representative out of the Homa area, and looks like Stephen Miller. I think a lot of people pretty much thought that would happen. That Stephen Miller, the only judge in the race, would most likely take that race. I do want to also look at the Public Service Commission. We are now in a new Public Service Commission district, as with Mike Francis. Mike Francis is now the Public Service Commissioner for St. Mary Parish. I believe we were in the seat of Greg Green, I believe his name was, and due to some redistricting, Mike Francis is now going to be our new commissioner. He's on to a very, very strong lead with 59% of the vote, 381 out of 908 precincts reporting. I believe that Mike Francis will no doubt hold on to that seat. He's been on the Public Service Commission for quite some time. So remember, if you're not happy about your utility rates, you need to call the Public Service Commission. You will now have a new Public Service Commissioner in Mike Francis. So there you have it.
And Mike's probably going to be getting a lot of calls.
I'm sure he will. Yes, indeed.
Mike worked for them years and years ago, Brady.
Francis
when I first got married. Not for long, but did work. And I'll tell you what, it was a good company back then to work for.
Get a lot of compliments about him, and some connections between Mike Francis and my wife's family out there in Gina. They're from the same area, and I hear a lot of good things about him. A very, very, very good businessman, from what I understand. Very successful businessman, and we shall see. Now we'll have a new public service commissioner. Still waiting, folks. I know a lot of people are on edge, as well as we are. We did not anticipate to go this late.
It's like watching a Saints game. Well, except for the last one.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Still, in previous years, it was like watching a Saints game.
Yes.
Maybe not a good analogy, but
yes, indeed.
Good, yes.
We do, on a more serious note, we do want to bring you up to date on the situation in Morgan City, where there was an active shooter situation in the area of Garber Street. This is the second such situation tonight. Earlier this evening, at the time I was going to vote, sometime after 6 o'clock, there was a report of shots fired. That was unconfirmed shots. No injuries. Then maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, another report of shots fired. This time that was confirmed, and they have now had one injured. They are being treated at Oxnard St. Mary Hospital. 4 have been taken into custody, or at least 4 persons of interest, and we are waiting to now we can make some calls, Brian. We have more precincts that have come in. Yep. Okay, let's go here to District 3. Lindsay Anselm has defeated incumbent Kenny Alfred in District 3 with 610 votes to 515. So Lindsay Anselm is the new school board member for District 3, defeating Kenneth Alfred, a longtime educator and incumbent school board member in St. Mary Parish. She has defeated him 54% to 46%, with 4 precincts reporting. a total of 610 votes to 515. In District 5, we are waiting on one more precinct, but Ginger Griffin holding on to a very, very strong lead with 68% to Jacqueline Fields Castillo, 32%. Again, we mentioned that Murphy Pontiff has defeated Glenn Pellerin with just 10 votes. In the race in District 8, Chad Parody has defeated Scott Babin and Sean Canty with 61% of the vote. And he garners 61% to Scott Babin's 30% and Sean Canty 9%. In District 11, Rhonda Dennis still holding on to a lead with 195 votes to Roland Verrett's 152 votes. And we can definitely make the official call for the mayor of town of Berwick. Mayor Duval Arthur re-elected with 88% of the vote to Jesse Boudreaux's 12%. So that's 88% to 12% for Jesse Boudreaux. And again, we also made the call in Baldwin. The mayor of Baldwin will now be Clarence Vappy. And I know Brian is working on some graphics. So to reiterate, we can tell you School Board District 3, one of the hottest races, Lindsay Anselm defeating incumbent board member Kenny Alfred, 54% to 46%, about 95% vote difference. Lindsay Anselm taking 610 votes to Kenny Alfred's 515 votes. District 5, Ginger Griffin still leading with 68% of the vote to Jacqueline Fields Castillo's 32% with one precinct left to report. In District 7, Murphy Pontiff Jr., a longtime educator in St. Mary Parish, will defeat Glenn Pellerin with 10 votes, 625 to 615. And they are both at 50%, but as long as you've got the 50 plus 1, you are elected.
That's right.
And then in District 8, Chad Parody, 61% of the vote to Scott Babin's 30% and Sean Canty's 9%. In District 11, Rhonda Dennis still holding on to that lead with 56% to Roland Verrett's 44%. So there you have it. She's still holding on to a lead against that incumbent, Roland Verrett. And so we shall see. So far, Brian, we have had...
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brad.
I was just going to say, so far you've had one incumbent that has been defeated. One incumbent is remaining pretty strong. That would be Ginger Griffin. And right now you've got one incumbent who is trailing with one precinct left to go. And a newcomer, Chad Parody, that seat was open. That's the seat of Mike Taylor. He chose not to seek re-election. And also the seat in District 7 where Murphy Pontiff has defeated Glenn Pellerin by just 10 votes. That would be the seat that is held by Wayne DeLotte.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have everything in with the exception of, well, actually, School Board District 5 and also School Board District 11.
We can, yes, and we can now call District 11. Rhonda Dennis has now defeated Roland Verrett by just 28 votes, 52%, 48%. If my math serves me right, 302 votes to 274 votes. So there you have it, 28 votes. That's why we say every vote counts. Every vote counts.
So that is the second incumbent that has been defeated on the school board, correct?
Right, correct.
Yes.
Let me make sure there is one precinct still outstanding, and that is going to impact the race of Ginger Griffin and Jacqueline Fields Castillo. There's only one precinct left in St. Mary Parish, and of all races, that one right there. But Ginger Griffin still holds on to a very strong leading. I mean, really, she is leading Jacqueline Fields Castillo by more than double the votes. I think you can say that she's holding on to a very comfortable lead, and I think she's going to have a good night.
I believe so too.
Yes, I think we're safe to say, but we don't want to make that official call. We don't know where that precinct is, but we can tell you that Ginger Griffin does reside in Patterson, as does Jacqueline Fields Castillo. We just don't know where that precinct is. And let me see if I can find that
You're
out for
looking
you.
at a difference in, I would say that's 3 out of 4 precincts. So we're looking at a difference of what, Brady, 2018 votes?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, that's going to be more. You're looking at at 500. Wait, that can't be right, is it? Well, yeah, Ginger Griffin. Yeah,
Yeah.
532 votes to
Right.
250 votes. I apologize. I was looking at
Sure.
it
No
somewhat
problem.
backwards, but
No
yeah,
problem.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Ginger Griffin will be back in.
Yes. So far we've had 2 incumbents defeated. You've had 2 incumbents who chose not to seek re-election. That would be Mike Taylor from Berwick, but that seat has been won by Chad Paraday. And then, of course, you've also had Wayne DeLotte from the Centerville area. That seat has been won by Murphy Pontiff Jr. Quite honestly, Brian, I'm a little surprised that Murphy Pontiff didn't take that with a stronger margin, because of the fact he's got a lot of experience in the school district. He was a teacher. He was an administrator, from what I understand.
Yeah,
They
sure
said he's
was.
got strong experience when it comes to maintenance. He knows the maintenance districts. A lot of people feel that he will he will bring a lot of experience, that he will be an asset to the school board. I'm just really surprised that the margin is just by 10 votes. And so
Yeah, I
that
am
is,
too.
and so Brian, I'm going to let you recap some numbers, and we're going to see if we can get some candidates on the air with us.
Well, thank you, Brady. I surely do appreciate that. And looking back through those numbers right now,
I
as
tell you
Brady had
what,
mentioned,
Brian, let's change gears, if you don't mind. Do you have
we can
Mayor?
do it.
Yes. Why don't you see
Yeah.
if we can get Mayor Duval Arthur on the phone?
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that
And
right now.
excuse us, folks, it's on the fly. We don't have a producer doing this for us, so everything is on the fly here at KQKI 95.3 FM, Bayou Vista, Morgan City, Louisiana. You are listening to live election night coverage on KQKI and on the KQKI Digital Video Network. Let's talk about the local races. School Board District 3, one of the hot ones of the night, Lindsay Anselm defeating incumbent Kenny Alfred, 54% to 46%. Ginger Griffin, it is official. She has defeated her challenger, Jacqueline Fields Castillo, with 69% of the vote to Jacqueline Fields' 31%, with all 4 precincts reporting. Also, Murphy Pontiff defeating Glenn Pellerin with 10 votes. Chad Paraday defeating his challengers by 61% to Scott Babin, 30%, Sean Kennedy, 9%. Rhonda Dennis, another big shakeup tonight, as Rhonda Dennis has defeated Roland Verrett, a long time incumbent. We don't want to take anything away from this race at all, because Rhonda Dennis has fought very hard, and she has defeated a longtime incumbent, Roland Verrett. So congratulations to Rhonda Dennis. I believe Rhonda is on her way to Georgia, and I believe we've got Mayor Duval Arthur on the line.
We have Mayor Duval Arthur on the line with us right now, and congratulations, Mayor.
Brian, thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor.
I feel blessed tonight for sure.
Well, I'm sure you do,
you
Mayor. This is Brady. Congratulations, and I know you have fought hard the past few years. What does 88% of the vote tell you?
Well, man, I tell you what, I think I can look at the council, and the council, probably all the hard work and effort they put into it by giving me questions and giving me ideas. I think I can lean on them. I really do. And fortunately, my last 4 years, because this is going to be my last term, my last 4 years, I'm going to depend upon them for a lot. And hopefully we'll finish all the things that we started and just make Berwick a better place.
You know, Mayor, you're mentioning the council, but what does it say about the council themselves going in unopposed without one other person running against them?
Well, I just don't ever remember that. I really don't ever remember a time where our council, all of them were returned to office without any opposition. That speaks just volumes for them and what they've done. And my hats go off to them. I was a councilman for 12 years, and I never had that good fortune. And so I know the hard work that goes on, and they have just did extra. They really have.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you go celebrate with your family. I spoke to your daughter earlier this evening. She invited me to your celebration, but unfortunately I could not make it. But again, congratulations, and we'll let you celebrate with your family. We're looking forward to seeing what the next 4 year holds for the town of Berwick.
Thank you, Brady. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I want to wish all the candidates. I know they all worked extra hard, and God bless them. They want to put their selves out there to take care of our citizens, and they deserve certainly they deserve the vote. Thank y'all for reporting this, and thank to the voters in St. Mary Parish for coming out and voting today. Thank y'all.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Mayor. Congratulations again, and we'll let you enjoy the evening with your family.
All right, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night. And, of course,
always humble. That's right.
Yes.
Always humble, Mayor Duval Author over in Berwick.
And I see Rhonda Dennis, who has had a very big night defeating a very long-time incumbent. Of course, there in the Wyandotte area, Amelia area, Mr. Roland Verrett, a longtime educator, longtime school board member. Brian, I cannot tell you how long he's been on the school board. As a matter of fact, Mr. Verrett said at the when he was at the debate or at the forum, he said that he had been on the school board most of his life. And so, that, like I said, he was an educator, and he had been on the school board a long time. So, this is a big shakeup on the board to see someone like Rhonda Dennis come in. She's a newcomer. She's got some ideas. I've spoken at length with her, and I can only imagine how she feels tonight. She's actually on our Facebook comments right now. Thanking people for all the congratulations, all the well wishes, and so Rhonda, of course, she is actually a friend of mine, and we say congratulations. Brian, I'm actually sending you her number right now. If you can get Miss Rhonda on the phone, because she is expecting our call. She says she's on her way to Georgia to celebrate. I guess I can say that. And so again,
you already did, so I don't think this.
She's going to celebrate. Rhonda Dennis. And so I'm going to go ahead and send you. You should have her number. I sent it to you. And apparently he is getting her on the line now. And again, Rhonda Dennis defeating Roland Verrett, a longtime incumbent. Another incumbent defeated tonight. That is Kenny Alfred, defeated by Lindsay Anselm. We will try to speak to Lindsay Anselm this evening as well as Chad Paraday.
And okay, Brady, we have Rhonda Dennis on the phone with us right now.
Well, good evening, Rhonda. How are you?
Hi, Brady. I am so much better now that I know the results.
Well, we're just sorry for you and us and everyone else that it took so long.
Oh, it's fine now.
It's fine now. Well, how do you feel?
Elated, absolutely elated. I am ready to get to work. I know this is not going to be an overnight fix, but I am ready to strive for better. I want to offer a fresh perspective on these important issues, and I want to just extend my thanks to everyone for trusting me to be a voice for the students, for the parents and guardians, and for the staff. And I definitely want to thank Mr. Verrett for all his years of service. I really respect him, and thank him for all that he's done.
Well, again, congratulations. I know you've got celebrations, some plans to celebrate with your family, and we want you to enjoy that. So, again, congratulations. And anything specifically that you, in particular, that you plan to implement or handle as soon as you become the board member come January?
Well, I know I want to visit the schools. I've started doing that already, and I've spoken with some of the principals, and I want to get with the teachers, and I want to see what's most important for them, and to start tackling the things that we can do. Like I said, I know that I can't promise the sun, the moon, and the stars, but I do promise I want to be visible, I want to be there, and I want to listen to what they want and what they need, and I want to do what I can do to help them.
Well, again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing what the new board will do come January.
Thank you so much, Brady, and thank you to everyone who voted and supported me and everything else.
You got it. Tell Doyle we said hello.
I certainly will.
Thank you. Everyone. Good night, of course.
Thank you, Rhonda, and you have a great night. Be safe.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Rhonda Dennis, of course, defeating longtime incumbent Mr. Roland Verrett out there in District 11. Now, Brian, you should be able to contact Miss Lindsay Anselm, another hot race tonight. And if you can make that contact and see if we can get Lindsay on the Lindsay Anselm on the line with us and see how she feels tonight. And it sounds like Brian is doing that now. So to recap, you've got two incumbents who have been defeated. You've got an incumbent who has been reelected. You've got two newcomers filling some open seats in District 7 and 8. District 7 being vacated by, of course, Wayne DeLotte and Murphy Pontiff winning that seat by 10 votes. And then Chad Paraday defeating Scott Babin and Sean Canty in District 8, which was vacated by Mr. Mike Taylor there in the Berwick area. And, of course, we did speak to Mayor Duval Arthur, who easily won re-election with 88% of the vote in the town of Berwick. He will go in with the unopposed council in Berwick. So we shall see what the next 4 years holds. All right, Brian.
All right, Brady. Yeah, we have Lindsay Anselm on the phone with us right now. And good evening and congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Well, congratulations. And Lindsay, I know it was hard fought. You and I had some interesting conversations. You had expressed some things that you wanted to handle. So tell us exactly how you feel and what's ahead.
Oh, I feel absolutely amazing. It was a hard-fought race, and I really respect my opponent and would like to congratulate him on everything he's done for so many years. As far as what's ahead right now, I'm really looking at what's going on with them wanting to look at the superintendent's contract right now. I'd like to see what the will of the people is on that, and I would like to try to bring transparency back to the parents in that district and hopefully get the opinions of our teachers and what they feel like they need and really give the voice back to the parish.
You mentioned the superintendent's contract. That is a very interesting statement because we actually spoke to Parish President David Hannegriff earlier this evening, and we did ask him about that. He's also concerned. Tell us about your concern regarding the superintendent's contract. The evaluation, her evaluation, is on the agenda for this Thursday's school board meeting.
Yes, her evaluation is on the agenda. There has talk about possible extension of her contract in that situation. And I really feel like at this point in time, now that we have the results of the election, the people have spoken as to who they would like to represent them. And I really feel like a vote on an extension or not an extension should be up to the new board members. They can wait for that vote up until, I do believe it's January, February, I think it's March, they can wait before they would make that decision. So I don't understand what the hasty decision would be. I kind of feel like it would be to circumvent the will of the people at this point if they would choose to do that after they know the results of the election. I could be wrong, but I'm I'm just trying to keep a positive mindset, and I would like to ask the board member that question myself. Thursday, I have them what their opinion is and why they're looking at things like this.
Well, I can tell you, Miss Anselm, when you get there to Thursday, you should bring a lot of influence because you are now going to be a school board member elect, and that will be a very interesting meeting. And we are looking forward to hearing the results of that vote of what takes place on Thursday.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see it myself.
All right, we will be watching that extremely closely. Again, congratulations, Miss Lindsay Anselm, defeating a longtime school board member and St. Mary Parish educator, Mr. Kenny Alfred in District 3. 610 votes to 515 for Kenny Alfred. Again, congratulations. We shall see what the next 4 years hold for the St. Mary Parish School Board. Again, thank you for joining us, Lindsay Anselm.
Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless.
And there you have it from Lindsay Anselm, who took District 3, St. Mary's School Board, Brady, as you had mentioned, 54 to 46%.
There you have it, Brian. I believe we have pretty much covered most of what we needed to do here tonight. Again, I don't have a number handy. Actually, I believe I can send your number for Mr. Chad Parody to see if we can get in touch with him. And I'm going to shoot you that number over very shortly, Brian, because I would like to speak to him and then maybe even to Mr. Murphy Pontiff, if at all possible. So I'm going to send you the first number I'm going to send you, Brian, will be that of Chad Parody. And folks, this is the way live radio works. We just work on the fly,
exactly
don't we?
Right. We do.
Yes, we do. And, we don't have a producer doing all this for us. So it's usually myself and Brian, the two Bs, So There you have it.
And we don't have Betty with us tonight. So.
Boy, you took the words out of my mouth. We don't have Betty Bowers. We should have brought him in, shouldn't have?
We should have.
Yeah. Well, we do have 4 Bs when you bring in Boudin. Of course, my son would be the 5th B, Braden. And so there you have it, Brian. I'm sending you a number right now for Chad Parody. And then we'll also try to see if we can get Mr. Murphy Pontiff on the other newcomer to the St. Mary Parish School Board. And Brian is attempting to reach Mr. Chad Parody right now, and we want to give him his time as well. And of course, we've already heard from Mayor Duval Arthur for the town of Berwick. We've heard from Lindsay Anselm. We've now heard from, of course, Rhonda Dennis, and Brian is attempting to reach Mr. Chad Parody on his big win tonight. Big win with, 68% of the vote there to the others of Scott Babin, Chad Parody had 61% to Scott Babin's 30 to Sean Candy's 9. But that's still a very big outright win that could have turned into a runoff, but it didn't. So there you have it. That's a big win for him.
And thank you, Brady. Unfortunately, we do not have Chad on the phone with us right now. But
okay.
We'll continue to try and get in touch with him.
Yep. I'm going to send you one more number, Brian. This will be for Mr. Murphy Pontiff. If you can try to get him on, we'd like to give him his opportunity to speak. I'm trying to monitor what's going on the national level, but we've been quite busy, so it's been very difficult. I am hearing it's close on the national scene, but who knows what can happen. Those can go on for days. I'm glad we don't take that long. And there you go. Seeing in Pennsylvania, too close to call, about a difference of 106,000 votes between Fetterman and Oz if you're watching some Senate races out of state. But in the state of Louisiana, Senator John Kennedy will easily be reelected. And so there you have it, folks. I am so glad it doesn't take long to get numbers in. Imagine if we had to take several days to get some numbers in on election night. That would drive us a little crazy. Clay Higgins going in, easily reelected. Most precincts already in with 65% of the votes. And all right, thank you, Brian. No answer for either candidate, and we were hoping to hear from them, but we at least wanted to give them a shot. But all of the precincts have reported, and I think, Brian, I believe most of our job
Yeah,
is done.
I think
And
it's done, Brady.
yes,
I
yes,
think I think
indeed.
it's done. It took us a little longer than
Yep,
we wanted, but of course, those numbers really not coming in till what it was about 9 o'clock before we
sure.
started getting the numbers coming in. So that's what took us a little while. But once we started going, that was it. We want to congratulate everyone that put their
Absolutely.
names on the ballot because, uh, I mean, that's just something I believe that is great for you to do. If you feel like you're the one that can make a change, put yourself out there and let the people decide. And we had some do that tonight. And I just have to congratulate all of them, Brady.
Absolutely. Again, to recap, Senator John Kennedy easily winning re-election, as does Clay Higgins for the 3rd Congressional District. The 6th Congressional District, Garrett Graves. He is now also representing St. Mary Parish in the Court of Appeal. Stephen Miller taking that race. He's got a very strong lead ahead of Tanner McGee. And let's see, we're going to go over into St. Mary Parish. Brian, we will do a recap of all of our local races for those who are just joining us. But
Yes.
again, let's start with the Public Service Commission District 4. Mike Francis easily winning re-election to the Public Service Commission. Brian, feel free to take any that you would like to take. Or I can
There
go
we
ahead and
go.
take those. Go ahead.
We'll go to school board member District 3. Of course, Lindsay Anselm taking that one, 54 to 46% over Kenneth Kinney Alfred.
Okay. And
Also,
in
District
District 5.
5. There
Go
you
ahead.
go. Also in District 5. We're going to
I'll
get
let
it
you
right,
take it.
folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
there
get
you
it.
go. Ginger Griffin taking that one. She stays on the school board, 69% to 31. Honestly, I'm not really surprised at that one at all, Brady. I
Not at
thought
all.
that Griffin was pretty safe going into this race.
I think so too. I believe a lot of people thought that, and she is liked by a lot of people. So I do agree with you on that note.
And there you go. You want to do 7?
Sure, I'll take 7. Murphy Pontiff Jr. Of course, he defeats Glenn Pellerin with 50% to 49.6%, just a few votes shy.
Yeah, we had to put that was real close.
Extremely close. What,
Tonight
10 votes?
in that, yeah, in that race. I mean, unbelievably close. So, looking at school board District 8, Brady, you had Chad Parody 61%, with Scott Babin 30%, and Sean Canty 90%. And really, that one not even close to even a runoff.
No. Going in, I was maybe thinking it could have gone into a runoff, but man,
Right.
that one really surprised me. Really
It really
surprised me.
did. It really did. Parody really strong.
Yeah. Babin made a strong run, too. Very strong run. So
Yes.
that's what really surprised me. All right. Number 8. Let me see. Which one? Okay, I think we can, Brian, you can try to go ahead and maybe reach Chad Parody if you don't mind. I believe he is
Okay.
ready. I just received a text
Okay.
from one that said that he is ready. So I'll go ahead and take the next one. District 11, Rhonda Dennis defeating longtime incumbent Roland Verrett, 52% to 48%. So again, Rhonda Dennis defeating Roland Verrett, 52% to 48%. And while Brian is working to get Mr. Chad Parody on the line, we'll recap the town of Baldwin. They will have a new mayor in Clarence Vappy, who has defeated Herbert H.B. Bell by with 68% to 32%. The mayor of town of Berwick, Duval Arthur Jr., easily defeating his challenger Jesse Boudreaux, 88% to 12%. I believe there is no surprise there from what people were saying in the town of Berwick. They've been pleased with what's going on in Berwick. Well, Brian says nope. So we're trying.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me see. We're going to. I received a text that said call Chad back. All right, we will keep trying. Thank you very much, Kevin. Chief of Police in Baldwin, that will go into a runoff with former Chief Anthony Gibson. He received 45% to Ronnie Fusilier's 28%, and then Tony Derwin, 27%. Brian, this is another close one. Tony Derwin missed the runoff by 4 votes, just 4 votes. And
when you talk about, like you said earlier, every vote counts.
Yeah.
Every vote counts. I mean, you're looking at 4 votes, and it's just unbelievable how close some of these races are tonight.
I teach my kids the importance of voting. Really do. And I'm telling you, my 9-year-old daughter just went on a tangent on our way to the voting precinct. I wish I could have recorded it and just played it back for everyone to hear, because it was really cool. And she was talking about democracy. If you want a strong democracy, you have to vote. And I mean, I believe Brian is getting that call. Hopefully that is Chad Parody. And but again, the chief of police, town of Baldwin, that's going to go into a runoff. Interesting enough, the former chief of Baldwin, Anthony Gibson, will be in a runoff with Patterson police officer Ronnie Fusilier, of course, who is a
Brady B. There you go.
Yes, let's do it.
Chad
Parody, congratulations. Good evening,
Chad. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good. How are you feeling tonight?
I feel very good. I'm ready to go ahead and get to work for all of our students and teachers and those throughout our parish.
We got to see you in the forum just not long ago. You expressed your platform. What are you hoping to start as you take on the new role as a school board member? Where do you want to start?
So the first thing we need to do is re-engage our community to be active in our schools. So I think it's extremely important and vital that our parents and our teachers and our students are all actively engaged with one another to go ahead and improve the relationships and to go ahead and show visibility amongst all of us.
Well, that's extremely interesting, and I know that I don't want to put you on the spot, but since you are a school board member elect, I would like to go ahead and get your thoughts on the situation where on the agenda for Thursday night is the situation with the evaluation or the extension or the renewal of the contract for Dr. Bagwell, the superintendent. Where do you stand? Should they wait till January?
So I have no issue with the current board doing the evaluation. However, I think any kind of contract negotiations or discussions does need to wait for the new board.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. We asked, of course,
the new board's going to be responsible for the superintendent and for the actions of the parish. So I do believe that falls under our responsibility.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you celebrate with your family. I know you have a lot of work ahead of you coming up, and just under about 2 months before you take your new position on the school board. So congratulations, and we wish you the very best of luck.
Nope, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Jay. You have yourself a great night.
Thank you so much. And again, Brian, I think that's going to wrap it up. We have spoken to the candidates for the most part that we wanted to speak to.
Yes.
We did get to speak. We did not get to speak to Mr. Murphy Pontiff, the school board member elect for District 7. We did try to make contact, but we were not able to. He, of course, defeated Glenn Pellerin by just 10 votes. And so some close races, some not so close. But you know what? The voters had their choice. They had their say, and we shall see what happens.
Absolutely, Brady. It's been a great night here, and that's just about going to wrap it up for us. You've been listening to live election coverage on 95.3 FM, KQKI, Bayou Vista, Morgan City, Louisiana, and also the KQKI Digital Video Network. I want to thank Brady Borrell. I'm Brian Produce. Everyone, have a great night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for voting. Have a good night.